Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Peekaboo25 here, and today, in the wake of the 12-hour countdown of me, or 16-hour countdown of me going to Charlotte, to Clearwater Beach, to Clearwater, whatever it is, I'm going to be making my predictions for how Carowinds and Busch Gardens Tampa's coasters will rank compared to others. And this is the same format as my Six Flags New England one. Unlike the Six Flags New England video before this, I will be predicting how each ride will stack up from least favorite to favorite. I'll be tackling this in order of my trip, going from Carowinds, then to Busch Gardens Tampa. It's not a predictions video for the park's future, because I am absolutely clueless on what Busch Gardens Tampa will add. Carowinds might, I don't know, I'm not going to go into details, but they might, I don't know, remove dinosaurs alive and put something there. Or they might get some of those flat rides that they bought for $1 million each in the foreign purchases. Some of those classic rides that were put for scratch. Also, I'll not be covering the kiddie coasters because I do not ride those. I have my family with me, so I'd look incredibly awkward getting that credit. And two, it's just, it's not really my thing. I'd rather be spending my time riding the big things, especially since I got some bad news coming up. First up, the Carolina Cyclone. Probably going to be my least favorite coaster at Carowinds. It's a quadruple looper with a layout extremely similar to Demon. And just does not score well knowing Demon already. Which, speaking of which, just recently replaced Raging Bull for virtual reality. Don't have time to make a video of that since I'm going on vacation in 16 hours, but still, news. It's forecast to be bottom 10 on my list. It's basically an older Demon. Actually, it was built in the same year as Demon's predecessor, turn of the century, without the theming. It'll score low. So I love Demon's theming. Caves and rocks and tunnels and lights and fun stuff. This is just a bland, multicolored coaster. I mean, those corkscrews do look nicer on the midway, but I'm pretty sure everything does that. Hurler. I've heard very, very bad things about this ride. Manufacturer is basically unknown in the coaster universe. If this is not built in-house, this is definitely from an unknown manufacturer that only made the other Hurler, from as far as I'm concerned, called International Coasters. However, the manufacturer is so unknown that I think it's just built in-house. It's bumpy, rough, poorly done, and probably will be on par with Roar and Hershey Park's Wildcat, probably making it bottom 15, possibly bottom 20, bottom 15. Don't think it'll be bottom 10, because I think Roar and Wildcat are just at the top of the bottom 10 right now. But still, it could be worse than that. It may be, oh my god, Amy B. This is what happens when you look down at the keyboard when you're typing, because you don't know where everything is. I type kind of funny. Nighthawk. I've heard very bad things about this ride, being dubbed rough, rattletrap, and terrible. Even hearing from several coaster enthusiasts from Ace, Coaster Force, and other sources saying that Nighthawk is nothing like, or completely worse, or inferior to the other Flying Dutchman, which I have ridden both. I've ridden Nighthawk I've ridden Batwing in 2014, and I had ridden Firehawk in 2015. And this year I'll be polishing off the collection with Nighthawk, hopefully. And this ride, there's a small fan base that think it's on par or better than the other Dutchmen, but I'm gonna go with the masses here. I'm projecting bottom 20, but I have honestly no idea what scale this thing could be. I was originally predicting Mean Streak to be worse than it actually was, so we'll see if this is a case where I'm either over-predicting or under-predicting. I mean, this is a flying coaster that's gonna shake you to bits. I'm not exactly too keen on riding this, but gotta do it for the credit, man. Gotta ride Mean Streak. May you be missed by only, like, 3 people. Ain't that the truth? Carolina Gold Rusher. It's just another mine train. And this thing, oddly enough, after one of his lift hills, has like a 1/10 of a mile stretch of just straight track. It's like twice or 3 times as long as the train itself. And I think it'll be smoother than other mine trains like Dahlonega or Cedar Creek Mine Ride. And the layout might be better than them, but I think it's projected for bottom 30. Basically losing to Cedar Creek Mine Ride. I know Cedar Creek Mine Ride was pretty rough and I couldn't fit in the car. It took me a whole minute to get out of that. But still, I mean, I gotta do these mine trains for the credit, and I'm thinking this one now could be better than Cedar Creek Mine Ride. I like the Cedar Creek Mine Ride goes over a lake and has this Actually, a fairly smooth helix, or double helix at the end. But, yeah, we see what we got here. Ricochet. It's a Mac rides Wild Mouse with a drop right at the lift hill. I actually think that is not true. Looking at photos and databases. That element alone, if it was there, makes it better than any Wild Mouse I've ridden. Probably going to be on par if it doesn't have that drop. I mean, there's a few Ricochets and only one of them has the trait. Or is it like the Fly? Or I don't know. These wild mice are confusing when you start adding more unique traits to them. Manufacturer is easy to tell, but the layout is pretty much all unique. If you add something a bit, or all not unique, all the same. If you add something original to the layout, that might be all right. I don't know. I forget which Ricochet or Cedar Fair Wild Mouse has that. I think one or two only does. Still a Wild Mouse though, and it'll probably be fun. It's a Mac ride as well. It might be on par with Hershey Park's Wild Mouse, maybe above it. But I really liked Hershey Park's Wild Mouse because it was actually not very jerky. It's pretty smooth, and I also got just a ride with just me and my cousin. There was a walk-on as well. We'll see how this one ranks, because I'm thinking just on par with the other Wild Mice, which probably means, I don't know, bottom 30, bottom 40. Carolina Cobra, a standard Vekoma boomerang that I've heard is actually pretty well maintained, mostly due to the trains. It might be on par with Hershey Park's Sidewinder, which is currently my favorite standard boomerang, and might be the best standard boomerang I've ever ridden if it's good enough. I mean, it's a boomerang though. Not really a big fan of these models, especially the ones with the old trains with the bulky restraints. Just considering I already ridden a unique boomerang this year, being Flashback, and I wasn't really a big fan of that one. Not as bad as St. Louis's, but better, but not as good as Fiesta Texas or Sidewinder. But yeah, it's Carolina Cobra. This one I've heard is actually good boomerang, but we'll see when we get there. Vortex. One of two things can happen here. Considering its age, this was like one of the second or third. This was basically a very old stand-up coaster. I think it's been around since like somewhere between 91 and 94. One of two things can happen here. Either B&M fixed their first problems with Iron Wolf, or now known as Apocalypse. I still refuse to call it that though. And it could be terrible, like Iron Wolf was, or it can be an actually somewhat decent ride, like Georgia Scorcher. I'm thinking positive and predicting the former, which probably will give it about the 60th percentile, or 60th approximately by the end of the season. I don't know exactly how the calculations will go. We'll just see it as they start filing in. Afterburn. Here's where we start getting good at Carowinds. The rest of the coasters are all kind of bad, inferior. This is the big three that people will come towards. Classic B&M Invert will probably miss the top 10 at the end of the year. Will probably be top 15, but will not be top 10 by the end of the year. I think Banshee and Montu will still both be in the top 10. And this will still be in the top 15 or 20 by the end of the season. Respectable placing. Shh, hey. Sorry, I have a dog. It's attached to my father and just won't shut up about it. He went out to go get our rental minivan for our lengthy trip, because we're adding more than just our immediate family for this one. Got some of our cousins coming with. It's going to be a fun time. Intimidator. This B&M Hyper will fall short of Diamondback is my bold prediction. Diamondback is currently my favorite B&M Hyper and generally favorite hyper coaster of all time. And this will probably fall short of it. I think this will still be like slightly below it. I heard this thing is trimmed to death. The layout is not as impressive. Sure, it's out and back with a little bit of helixes after the brake run, but the trim to death part might ruin it. Because I ride Raging Bull every time I go to Great America. I can tell you about trims. I have the privilege to tell about trims. It'll probably be top 10 by the end of the year, but miss top 5 to probably another entry on this list. I think it'll probably be like 6th or 7th by the end of the year is my current prediction. Even if it's trimmed to death, because this thing can be a bit of a disappointment at times. And this thing will either be our first or our last ride, depending on which way we turn for the park. Fury 325. This will easily be my new favorite coaster by the end of the year. I will come to Carowinds just to ride this thing, and I will leave all the other credits be just to get on this one like 10 times. It's already achieved global recognition from coaster enthusiasts, and have like doubled, tripled, multiplied the attendance at Carowinds. As if the Carolina natives were already enough the attendance, now people are flocking in from across the country and across the world to get on this thing. This is one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite rides and elements from my favorite one of my favorite manufacturers. I love B&M. I've never ridden a bad B&M. I think the worst B&M I've ridden was actually Apocalypse or Iron Wolf, and that was their first. They fixed their errors. This will absolutely blow me and every other rider on the train away. Like I'm gonna be coming off with a huge adrenaline rush of euphoric bliss and just clapping on the brake run, just nonstop. I'll probably be clapping even until I reach the other end of the park at this thought. It's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to riding this. However, I'll get to it at the end. Something might doom it. Sand Serpent. This is actually pretty good when you can hear this coaster is basically, other than the kiddie coaster, this is the worst coaster in your park. Mediocrity, not a rattly death trap. Say Carolina Cobra, or not Carolina Cyclone, or Nighthawk, Carolina Gold Rusher. It's still a Wild Mouse. I think I'll probably lose to Ricochet and maybe be on par with Wild Mouse. Looking at the track, I don't know if this is a Mac. It might be a Mac, but I don't see every switchback turn having that little diagonal in the track. So it might not be a Mac Wild Mouse. I think it is, but I don't know. If it's like Gotham City Gauntlet, then I'm probably not going to enjoy it. But I think it's Mac, and I know Mac restraints on this are actually decent. Scorpion. This Schwarzkopf compact single looper is actually somewhat of a pretty intense ride from what I've heard. I mean, it's low to the ground, has a compact layout and inversion, and I think it might be better than Super Duper Looper, despite not interacting with the terrain, but might be maybe because of the forces, the intensity, but it will lose to Mindbender easily at Six Flags Over Georgia. I mean, I don't really remember too much about Mindbender, and it's one of the things I'll definitely have to ride again and get some notes on if I ever go back to Over Georgia. But yeah, this one will be pretty fun from what I can tell. I think this will also be better than Whizzer, obviously. I really like Whizzer, but this thing will be great. Cobras Curse, the newcomer to Busch Gardens Tampa this year, and will be a really enjoyable family coaster that pretty much everyone can enjoy. Even hardcore coaster enthusiasts that just live and breathe boring and mild for insulting everything by, they can enjoy this. They'll have some fun on this one. It can ultimately become my favorite family coaster I've ever ridden, and by definition. And it'll be my first Mac spinner. I've ridden a Mauer spinner, I've ridden a Zamperla Wild Mouse spinner, but I've never ridden a Mac spinner, and this will be my first and easily the biggest interest for me. However, if I didn't get on this, I would be riding a Mac spinner next year, being Sierra Sidewinder at Knott's Berry Farm. So yeah, this thing will be fun. I would love to interact with that Cobra, just, I don't know, reach out and touch its fangs or something, if, I don't know. I'll probably just reach out and see if I can touch its jaw. That'd be pretty fun. But yeah, this thing's gonna be a lot of fun. And the spinning, I have so few words to it. I've seen so little research on this, but all I can tell you is that I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna enjoy this one. Kumba, this intense B&M sit-down has mixed emotions with me. I've heard it can be one of the roughest, snappiest B&Ms that I've been on, like on par with Raptor for snappiness. But I've heard that it's a classic, intense favorite ride among many. Coaster enthusiasts say this thing is probably one of the best coasters they've ridden in terms of intensity. I personally think this will be the worst of the big four, and it probably will be on par with Superman Krypton Coaster and Raptor, which means they'll secure a spot in my current top 20, but might fall to like top 25 by the end of the year. And currently, I like Superman Krypton Coaster is above Gatekeeper and X-Flight. I think sitting at about 19th. Which originally it would have been like 40th by now if I hadn't rethought and say, hey, that was actually pretty good. It's actually kind of forgettable for me, but still. I'll get to more of that of my 100 coaster countdown bonanza, assuming that we can still get on these. I've been hinting to this, and I'll get to it soon. We've got 3 more to go. Cheetah Hunt, a mainly or family launch coaster with almost everything under its belt. An inversion, 3 launches, airtime, S-bank turns, some elevation on that figure 8 thing or infinity shape thing, theming. It's got a little bit of everything for riders to enjoy. I currently have my expectations set pretty high for this one, but I don't know. I mean, this is the one that's going to be a weird entry. It's going to be like you have a bunch of good coasters, like, I don't know, good B&Ms and good like a B&M floorless, B&M wing, B&M dive, B&M some of the worst B&M inverts, a couple of the more disappointing like Superman coasters and fun stuff. And then you have Cheetah Hunt, which is completely different from the rest of them. This will be a bizarre placeholder on my list, but I'm thoroughly looking forward to riding this one. This will be fun. Shigra, a classic B&M dive coaster, not the best quality, but still fun for everyone. I still think this would be worse than Valorant due to the fact that it's older, it'd probably be a bit rougher, and it doesn't have the same layout. But it does have that splashdown, and it does have, I think, it only has 1 inversion, though. I don't know. I think this would be worse than Valorant. Probably make top 20 by the end of the year, because I have a lot of fun on dive coasters. They might not be good, but they're sure a lot of fun. And finally, my #1 prediction for the park is Montu. This classic B&M invert is a fan favorite and widely considered to be one of the best inverts of its kind, or best inverts of all time. It's up there with Afterburn, Banshee, and Nemesis at Alton Towers. This ride may crack top 10 at the end of the year if it is better than Banshee. If this ride is not better than Banshee, Banshee will crack top 10. If this ride is better than Banshee, this will be number 10 by the end of the year, and will be the 4th new ride to do so, assuming I get everything, which with my current projections is to be Fury and Intimidator, this, and one that's already pretty much guaranteed to be there, Wicked Cyclone. So, yeah, that is my countdown. But wait, what's this? A tab. Here is what might put my entire trip in jeopardy. Rain, 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 and rain. It's going to be fine tonight. It's going to be fine tomorrow when I'm still on the road driving 12 hours to get there. And storms, 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 storms. And it doesn't end there. Here I go to Clearwater, which is basically where my hotel is, and it's sure going to have the same thing as Tampa Bay. And then we go to 10-day, and it's just going to be, what does it say here? Oh, storms, 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 PM thunderstorms, and then sunny when I'm gone, when I leave. I leave the 13th out of Florida. It's like, please, please. Can I please get some good weather? This is what I get for not doing my superstition that currently has a 7 out of 8 success rate, which only missed the day that Cedar Point got its power lines knocked out. This is what happens when I can't go to Great America and do my superstition. I'll probably say to my Q&A, come to school year, where I'll reveal a bit about myself, some of my whatevers about myself, a couple things. But yeah, that was when I put my entire trip in jeopardy. 17 credits and some phenomenal rides. Intimidator, Fury, Montu, Shikra, Cheetah Hunt, Kumba, Afterburn. Some fantastic credits I might miss out on because of the weather. Because the East Coast is a magnet for keeping weather in. It's like, you know, if you've ever seen Florida, it's like, you know, if it rains there, it just stays there for so long. It's just, it doesn't move. It just stays there. It's like there's a half a mile an hour speed hurricane coming through, or tropical depression. And last time I checked, there's no hurricane going through at the moment. Unless, and if there is, that might be a cause for alarm. I'm really not happy with the weather right now, but I've got to pray it gets better. I'm not even religious. I gotta do some weird things in order to get what I want. Sometimes I might be superstitious only if I get what I want there. Enough about myself. I really hope that even if you guys are going for your before school or back to school last minute summer vacations, I hope you get good weather. If you wish me good weather. This is really depressing to me right now. I have 17 credits and my 100th coaster on the line, and it could be gone. Just gone. Here, I'll type in Tampa. Yeah, there's my, Tampa not Tampa. This is what happens when I just am terrible with that. Here's Tampa, Florida. It's not too far from... Here's Clearwater, here's Tampa. And let's just go to, like, 10-day... Not farming forecast, no. And it's, like, rain. Rain, 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 rain. Everywhere. Everywhere. It's really aggravating me. I really hope I get some good weather for this. I'm really not happy about this, but... If it does happen, I'm probably just going to cry myself out of the trip. And probably, like, walk home. I don't know. I really hope I get good weather for this. This will be my first trip. This will actually be my second trip that's been screwed over by rain. Hershey Park had a bit of rain misfortune, but I had 2 days, and I can get on everything before it started raining. This, I only have 1 day to get to Carowinds. No, 2 days. And both of them are projected for rain. I have Sunday and Saturday, because our reservation's been pushed back to Saturday night. Which is, you know, we're leaving 6 a.m. out of our house, going to pick up every other rider, and then driving 12 hours out to Charlotte, which means we'll probably be there by 9 p.m. after all the stops. Which will be like 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then I have Sunday and Monday for Charlotte Carowinds, which means I have a small chance of getting on all these. Then Busch Gardens, Tampa, I have Wednesday, I think, Thursday, Friday for. And all those are projected for rain, and it's really pissing me off. And it's just, alright. I really hope you guys just stuck around for all this. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Hope you all have good weather. Sorry for the minor disruptions if you hear any dogs in the background, because, you know, we gotta have all these dogs, because my mother is a crazy dog lady. I'm just going to end it off here. No more digressing. Hope you all have a good day. Have good weather for your back-to-school vacations. I'm really looking forward to my trip. I leave tomorrow. Do you want... And put down in the comments below. Do you want me to do a vlog? Do you want me to do a vlog in order to, like, at Carowinds, like, when I get off of Fury, or at Busch Gardens, Tampa, to see how everything's going, give you some updates along the way. I really hope you guys can do that, or if you guys want me to do that. I'm just going to say it anyway. I hope you all have good weather for your back-to-school trips. This is, like, the third time I said this, and as always, peace.